On February 7th, 1984, 317 miles above Earth, Bruce McCandless pushed away from the space shuttle and into the history books, taking the largest first step in human history. While Neil Armstrong's small step was a giant leap for mankind, Bruce McCandless's first test of the Manned Maneuvering Unit was a plunge into infinity. Space is big. In size, obviously, but also in the way that it stirs our imaginations. The very concept of nothing is hard to fully process. And if space is anything, it's a whole lot of nothing. Potentially infinite nothingness. But at the same time, teeming with monstrous structures and energies beyond human comprehension. Filaments made up of thousands of clusters of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. Areas of space so dense and massive that the rules of physics entirely break down. And yet, when we look outside, we only see the very closest stars.
Dude, that's so sick though, dude. One time I'd want to go to a place that looks like that with like no light pollution.
Yeah.
And just like freaking stargaze.
There's like a few spots that I know about because I kind of grew up like around a whole bunch of farmland. So if you ever want to hit up one of those spots,
Dude, I'm so down.
You should check it out.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
All the rest of it is just out there, hidden in the endless darkness, like an eldritch horror. And despite that, or maybe because of it, we feel inexplicably drawn to it. From our earliest days, we explored the infinite darkness, looking for meaning. We used the stars to navigate, to guide our planting of crops. We imprinted our gods and mythologies into the patterns we saw in them. We may not have known what was out there, but we knew it was important. We invented eye-enhancing telescopes that reached through the darkness and found monstrous worlds we didn't even know existed. And now in the modern era, we've taken our first tentative steps into that void by packaging ourselves in suits and machines that simulate the conditions on Earth. And we can't survive in any of it. Our world, in this perspective, is a microscopic oasis in a never-ending inky void, as insignificant to the rest of the universe as a bacterium floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Astrophobia is the fear of space, or astronomical objects.
Do you have the fear of space? Do you have astrophobia?
I wouldn't say it's like a fear. It's more like kind of like maybe like, nah, I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it. I'd say like maybe I'd have a little bit of a fear of like the unknown, but not necessarily like when thinking of space.
Yeah.
I don't get an initial like fear response kind of thing.
Yeah.
More of kind of like curiosity, I would say. What about you?
I would say, yeah, I do feel very curious about it, but I do think it is really scary because like, I feel like it's almost like we're not meant to be there.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's just void, and then if you go in it, you just die.
Yeah, you can't exist, which is crazy. Like,
it's crazy how we haven't found anything like life-wise outside of it yet.
Anywhere close to like our level of existence.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Like, I feel like, is there really anything out there?
Yeah.
Like, dude. I know there's like possible organisms and stuff on like some planets, but
yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think?
I feel like, as a species ourselves, like an intelligent species, yeah, we're kind of the only ones.
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
But who knows? You know, his space is so.
There's so
massive.
much. I can't even begin to think about comprehending like the size, dude. Like when I think of like space, like even in my head, it has like an edge, but like it doesn't. It's just like pretty much infinite.
I mean, it technically does have the edge. It's just like, it just keeps expanding. You know.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like there is the fear, like, eventually there's supposed to be something called, like, a crunch, where it just folds in on itself.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is pretty, like, crazy to think about.
That's freaking insane, honestly.
Because, like, what happens when you reach the edge of space? Is it just still just nothing?
That's probably how people felt, like, yeah, I don't even know. That's probably how they felt when they were exploring the world, like, before they knew what the edge of the Earth was, and how it's not like a flat
Earth
plane.
And all that.
They're like, are we just gonna fall off? Like, do you just dip out of existence, kind of thing?
Yeah, that is a pretty crazy thought. Like, is it just no existence past that point, or is it just like, you know, just nothing?
Like alternate like dimensions or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's crazy to think about.
It's definitely crazy to think about, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Astro from the Greek astron, meaning star, and phobia from the Greek phobos, meaning fear. So technically, astrophobia is the fear of stars, but we include space and celestial objects as well. Objects like, say, the Mars moon Phobos, We literally have an object in the solar system named fear. If someone from the city who rarely sees stars goes to the country or dark sky territory, they might find the immensity of a fully lit night sky to be overwhelming, even nerve-rattling. We might say that person has a touch of astrophobia. A believer in astrology might become nervous in the days when Mercury goes into retrograde. This could be considered astrophobia. Or the old idea that people go mad under a full moon, turning them into lunatics. That's astrophobia. In the ancient times, comets were thought to be harbingers of disaster. In fact, that's where the word comes from, disaster, bad star. But there's another type of astrophobia, one that's not specific to an object or a superstition, but something much deeper, a kind of cosmic existentialism. Have you ever laid in the grass on a clear night and just took in the sky? Just let it wash over you and kind of become a part of it. A strange sensation starts to come over you that you're not actually looking up, you're looking down. Below you is a drop into an infinite void, and the only thing keeping you from falling...
Dude, I love that feeling,
bro. That's a crazy feeling. Like, I never really thought of it like that. Like, I always usually think, like, I'm on top of the world, and I'm just laying on top of it, like, if I do that, but I never really thought of it as kind of the upside down. Same thought, though, you know?
Yeah, I honestly agree. I've never thought about it like that. Like, you are looking, like, down.
Yeah, I think we're
like
standing on an angle right now. Yeah. When you really think about it.
That's so weird to think, dude.
Yeah.
It's, like, so hard to put into perspective, because this is all we know.
Yeah. We only know just, like, what we can see around us.
Yeah. That's freaking so crazy
like
to think about.
Like an infinite drop into the void.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary to think about.
It's so scary, but it's also so cool.
Is the fact that you're stuck to the ground by gravity. This shift in perspective is a bit of a transformative experience, and I recommend everybody to have it at some point in their lives. Certain chemicals can help that along, just saying. But that perspective is a bit more accurate. In space, there really is no up. There is no down. It's just out, in all directions, forever. And the only thing keeping you from falling into it is this invisible force called gravity, which we still don't really understand. And it's a good thing, because if you were to ever go out in any of those forever directions, you'd be dead after 5 miles. That's it. That is as far as a human can go in that direction before we can't breathe anymore. 5 miles. 8 kilometers. You could walk that distance in a little over an hour. That's nothing. And everything beyond that will kill you. Fear of space indeed. We exist on a tiny sliver of space, on the surface of a tiny planet. And even in that sliver, we can only survive on land, which is only 29% of the total surface. And even on that land, only 43% of it is habitable. The rest will kill you with oppressive heat, extreme cold, and choking forests. Earth can kill you in a million different ways. You can dehydrate, drown, fall off a cliff, get hit by lightning, consumed by fire, consumed by a lion, or a tiger, or a bear. You could eat the wrong berry, or pet the wrong snake, or get bitten by the wrong bug, or go to Australia. You could get blown up by a volcano, or breathe a toxic gas, catch a disease from a rat, or have a small number of blood cells clot up and travel to your brain.
Like, think about how genuinely, like, fragile humans really are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the human body, I mean. Because, like, literally everything is out to get you when you really think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because, like, even the simplest things, like, in olden times, you know, disease was just, you're gone.
People used to die to literally everything. Like, you could, before we invented, like, actual medicine, and also before people started to, like, build that good autoimmune system that would just, like, filter that stuff out, you just, like, got wiped out by anything that came your way.
You just get freaking destroyed by, like, everything.
Yeah, like, literally, anything, dude. Anything could hit you and you're just gone.
Or just wait long enough. One way or the other, the Earth always wins. Nobody has ever survived Earth, and yet it's the only place in our solar system we can survive. If you teleported to the surface of Mercury, you would lose consciousness within 20 seconds for lack of oxygen. And in the vacuum of space, your skin would boil as gases in your blood flash into bubbles, like a carbonated soda. If you were teleported to the sun side, your body would bake on that.
Little bit of side note on, like, space travel and stuff. Would you be, if they started like doing like explorations, or not even just explorations, but like started developing civilization on like Mars, would you want to be like one of the earlier, not like the first person or like the second or anything, but like if they have like couple thousand people, would you want to be one of the people who are moving there, or would you want to? No.
Mars is just like the surface is all irradiated. Like it's brutal conditions. I think Earth is just it's built for human life.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like evolutionary, like technically over time, I feel like a Mars society could work.
Yeah.
But I think just in the present human state, no.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Vaporized.
And you'd also have to like leave behind everything else that you already know.
Yeah.
Like it would just be a complete shift. And like until they start setting stuff up, like, dude, just like the way of life is so different. And you'd have to like rely on like shipments and stuff from Earth specifically to get like the nutrients and like supplies that you need to survive on that planet.
Yeah,
because like there's no, at least as far as I think they've found, like there's no way to actually sustain life or like grow crops or anything like that on Mars itself. So it would just be like, it would just be the same as living on Earth, but it would just suck.
Yeah, and you'd have to rely on the people on Earth anyway.
800 degrees surface. If you're on the shadow side, it's immediate frostbite at negative 290 degrees. If you went to the surface of Venus, you wouldn't have time to suffocate from the lack of oxygen because you would immediately burst into flame from the 867 degree air temperature, while simultaneously being crushed by an atmospheric pressure 92 times higher than here on Earth.
Sorry to pause so much, but I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite planet?
A favorite planet?
Yeah.
I have to say Neptune. I think it's so cool.
That is, I agree, that's a good pick.
And how it's kind of like named after like, you know,
yeah, Neptune.
Yeah, I feel like that's just so, it's cool to me.
No, that's really cool. I like the color of it as well.
Yeah.
It's freaking sick. Like, it's all blue, right, I think? Yeah, I love that.
Do you have a favorite planet?
Dude, I mean, let me think. Yeah, Neptune's definitely sick. I like Saturn just because I think the ring is tough as heck.
Yeah.
It's just a freaking ring around it.
Cool.
And then Venus, I don't know why, but, like, it's just, like, freaking poison gas planet.
Like it's the evil planet.
Yeah, it's the freaking evil planet, dude. Like if you try to pull up onto Venus, dude,
you're done. You're cooked.
You're getting cooked, literally.
Basically be like the Titan submersible, but on fire. On Mars, you might have a relatively warm day, but you'd still suffocate. There's only 1% of our air pressure there, and almost none of it is oxygen. So you'd get the worst case of the bends imaginable, and then pass out. Teleporting to the surface of Jupiter would be difficult because there's no real surface on Jupiter, just thick atmosphere that gets thicker as you go down until it turns into liquids and solids and states of matter we don't even understand. You would basically just fall until you were crushed into a diamond. Somewhat the same thing on Saturn, but breathing the ammonia clouds would scorch your lungs first. Neptune and Uranus are so far away from the sun that the hydrogen atmosphere freezes solid. That's why they're called ice giants, which is what you would be within seconds of going there. At negative 371 degrees, your body doesn't freeze, it vitrifies. Basically turns into glass. Our sense of scale about space is completely skewed because you can't really image it. To show it remotely at scale, you wouldn't really be able to see anything. It takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the Earth. It takes light about 8 hours to reach the outer edge of the Kuiper Belt and leave our solar system. So one light day is 3 times longer than the radius of our solar system. 1 light year is 365 times that long. Our closest star is 2.24 light years away. Polaris is around 450 light years away. The farthest star that you can see with the naked eye is V762 Cassiopeia, a supergiant star approximately 16,000 light years away. While we're looking at the Milky Way, we sit about halfway between the center and the edge. If we went to the edge, it would be 25 to 28,000 light years, making the radius of the Milky Way about 50,000 light years, roughly 100,000 all the way across. These distances are ridiculous, but that's nothing compared to the distance between galaxies. The closest galaxy is Andromeda, which is 2.5 million light years away, 25 times the length of our galaxy. We're part of the local group of galaxies, roughly 10 million light years across. And that is inside the Virgo supercluster, which contains 100 galaxy clusters and made up of 10,000 galaxies, spanning 110 million light years. And that is part of the Laniakea supercluster, including the Virgo supercluster and the Hydra Centaurus supercluster, that are all flowing toward a region known as the Great Attractor. It's 500 million light years across. Laniakea is one of the superclusters that makes up the Pisces-Cetus supercluster complex. It's a galaxy filament a billion light years long. At this scale, the cosmos breaks down into filaments and voids, including...
Yeah, have you heard about, like, voids a whole bunch?
No, I don't know that much.
It's just, like, areas of space where everything is around it, but there's nothing in it. Like, it is just empty in that area. It's not like a black hole or anything. It's just empty.
Just
empty space.
Complete emptiness.
Yeah. Like, there's just nothing.
Huh. It's
pretty crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, that's really crazy to think about.
Yeah.
There's just points in the universe that are just, like, absolutely empty. And then what even is there? Like, what is it?
Nothing.
That's so weird to think about. Like, it's
just a lack of everything.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing to think about, because...
And it's 300 million light years across. So if you're looking at one spot, like if you're sitting on like a planet on one spot, and you're looking at the planet on the other, right? Mm-hmm. You're looking at it 300 million years ago.
That's the crazy thing, dude. Time and just the sheer distance between this stuff is so crazy, and how time literally changes depending on where you're at. It's crazy
to think about.
Yeah. Like, you could be somewhere else, and people, like, you're experiencing time the exact same way, but somehow people on Earth are aging at a different rate than you are.
Yeah.
Depending on just where you're at. Like, that's so wild, dude.
It's crazy to think about.
Like, I could just leave, come back, and you could literally just be dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's so wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even begin to understand that, but, like, that's so...
And if you were to look at me, like, during that time, you would just see me aging, like, slowly.
I would be able to see you physically aging because of how, like,
Yeah.
far the distance is and how it like literally just warps time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Time is so crazy to think about too.
Yeah.
Like side tangent.
Side tangent. Time is crazy.
Time is bonkers, dude. I don't even know how else to say, like, how else to describe it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
There's just like, because like you perceive time, however you're perceiving it the same way no matter what.
Yeah.
But what's actually happening is dependent on something else.
Right.
That I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. Like, different people are actually, depending on where you're at, you're actually just genuinely experiencing a different,
yeah, it's
like,
crazy
time frame. Yeah.
The Bode's void, which is 300 million light years across. Just pure emptiness. Beyond this is the cosmic web, which is where our numbers break down. All told, the observable universe is agreed to be about 93 billion light years across. Given the absurd scale that we're dealing with, one can only assume that the universe is filled with billions, even trillions of different planets harboring life. If there is even a millionth of a percentage chance that life could evolve in another star system, the number would still be, well, astronomical. Arthur C. Clarke once said, quote, "Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying." If the universe is teeming with life, that would mean that it's filled with potential hidden threats all around us. But it would also mean that we are not special. We do not have some privileged place in the universe. We are not the universe experiencing itself. We're just a really weird fluke of organic chemistry that happens from time to time, devoid of meaning and purpose. If there is no life outside of Earth, then we are truly alone, floating in an infinite void, which would be, in the words of Ellie Arroway, a huge waste of space. It's such a waste of space, it feels unreal. Perhaps...
Yeah, because that's one thing to think about also is, like, there's all this space, like what she said, huge waste of space, but, like, there's so much space and there's nothing.
Yeah, like, that's still hard to think about.
It is definitely hard to, like, think about, but, like, I don't know. I definitely do feel like there could be, and probably is, some life forms, but on the level of our intelligence is where I kind of like, I don't know about that, because we, even on Earth alone, we're the only species that has our level of intelligence. Nothing else has, like, either evolved or no one, like, there's just no other living species that has our level of cognitive abilities. So, like, even throughout, and I mean, that's the thing, though, when you put it in perspective, though, with the billions of light years of space,
There's just so much out there.
Yeah, there's so much odds that there could be something there.
Because there's stuff we still can't even see, and maybe it's like evolved on a planet, and like we just never were able to view it because it's so far away from, you know, light years in time, like how we were just saying.
Yeah, and there might be stuff that exists that we like physically, at least right now, would never be able to see because you can't travel that far.
Yeah.
You'll just die before you ever get light years in space. Like until they invent some hyper speed rockets that can do that, but like who knows?
Like, if that'll even be possible.
Yeah, exactly. We don't even know if we'll ever be able to like explore the entire universe.
Yeah, I doubt we'll be able to explore everything, but like it's still crazy.
It is insane. I wonder how space exploration will be like in the future though. Like, dude, because I don't know. Like we might just like same thing. I already said this before about like Earth. People eventually just had to start going out and seeing what's there. But like the same thing might happen with space, where we just are so bored. There's nothing to do. We've already kind of like mastered life
like
on
our
Earth.
area.
Yeah. Then you want to kind of like just explore out of curiosity and for something to do. So like people might just start going around for the sake of exploring, you know?
Yeah.
A simulation? What if this really is just a massive game that creates itself as we explore the virtual universe? The further out we look, the more we see. When Hubble took its deep field photo pointing at a tiny dark patch of sky and finding thousands of galaxies, maybe those galaxies literally didn't exist until we looked there. Maybe
that's a frickin' interesting concept.
Yeah.
Stuff not existing until you perceive it. I don't know what it was, but I saw a video one time where they were talking about like, I think it was about like consciousness and like how stuff could be alive, but only how you perceive it is like how it is. I don't know. It was a weird explanation, but like something could be like more, I don't know. It was a weird video, but it was like something could be more alive than you think. But when you look at it, it's just like, since that's how you perceive it, that's how it exists. Or like whenever you're looking at it, it just stops existing. So that's kind of like the similar thing where like space, certain things just don't exist. But like, it's kind of like loading chunks. Like if you were to put it in like a Minecraft perspective, like as you go, new life is just like spawning into existence. That's really weird to think about. That's an interesting theory. I feel like that could
tie into like simulation theory.
Yeah, definitely simulation theory. I agree, yeah. I don't know if I'd believe that, but like that's a crazy concept for sure.
The structure of the universe didn't exist until we figured out how to map the cosmic microwave background radiation. Maybe you and I are just ones and zeros, and what we experience as consciousness is just a sim program, just existing in a game. This is a popular theory, if maybe a little bananas. But belief in it is understandable, considering the equally baffling absurdity of the physical universe. There is a more elegant solution, though. One that allows for a universe teeming with life, but simultaneously seemingly void of life. But it's no less existentially terrifying. The term Great Filter speaks to the idea that basic life like single-cell bacteria might be common, but intelligent life encounters barriers that prevent it from existing everywhere. Some think the Great Filter occurs before intelligent life. For example, the evolution from single-celled organisms to multicellular organisms, that might be a great filter. After all, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and single-cell life began relatively early, some believe around 500 million years. But it wasn't until 1.6 billion years ago that multicellular life arose on Earth, meaning it took 2.5 billion years for life to make that jump. Perhaps this is such a remarkably rare event that it could be considered a great filter. Others suggest the Great Filter is something that still awaits us, that it occurs after intelligence evolves. Maybe because of a cataclysmic cosmic event, or the death of their star. Maybe it's a predatory alien civilization engaging in dark forest gamesmanship. Or maybe because intelligent civilizations inevitably drain their own resources and wipe themselves out. Perhaps intelligence isn't the ultimate goal of evolution, but a mutation of it, a kind of cancer. A metastasis that requires an unsustainable consumption of resources that inevitably dies out. All of this is an overdramatic way of saying that maybe intelligent civilizations have a time limit. And if there's anything as absurd as the space in the universe, it's the time of the universe. The two are fundamentally linked after all. The average lifetime of a species here on Earth is between 5 and 10 million years. Intelligent life might fare better, or it might fare worse. But we can give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say we last 10 million years. In the 13.8 billion year history of the universe, that is a line so thin, you can barely see it on the screen. Even if life was common, even if intelligent life were common, even if every single star system in the universe were capable of creating intelligent life at some point before that star system dies out, it is entirely plausible that all of those civilizations rose, conquered, and ended at different windows in the universe, and never knew that any of the others ever existed.
Yeah, that's another...
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, just that, like, we could, and especially with the resource consumption, it would kind of make sense, like, that, like what they said, we'd have a limited time, and once we use all the resources, we'd eventually just die out. But, like, what if that's just happening throughout the whole universe in different...
Right.
Like, there's tons of different organisms, and they evolve over time to be intelligent, and then eventually they die out and just new ones pop up.
Yeah, just from, like, time and...
Yeah.
Those organisms just, like, naturally happen.
Yeah, because, like, what they said, with the time scale, like, the amount that we've been around is such a small sliver. Keep going down the sliver and gamble the odds, then another life form could pop up. And then it kind of just repeats the cycle on that. So it's kind of... Yeah,
that's a crazy thought.
It's a theory I've never
really
heard
about that either. So that's interesting. I'll probably be thinking about that all night now.
Me too.
In our tiny, inconsequential oasis of the universe, are only here for a fleeting amount of time. And all we have is each other against the vast, consuming darkness. On Valentine's Day in 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft, well past the orbit of Neptune at this point, took one last look back toward the inner solar system and snapped a picture. This picture held no scientific value. In it, there was nothing we could learn that we didn't already know. But in this photo, Voyager captured Earth from over 6 billion kilometers away, making it look like only a cluster of blue pixels. Carl Sagan championed this photo and called it the pale blue dot. It is, in a sense, the most accurate photo of our species ever taken. In Carl's words, "From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that, in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion...
Yeah, that's like another thing I was kind of thinking about is like, you'd think after, like, the more we learn about, like, the universe and Earth and stuff, people would, like, stop fighting so much. I feel like. Like, I feel like...
just chill out.
Yeah, there's so much, like, violence and stuff. But, like, what, at the end of the day, none of that violence really ever seems to solve anything. Life just keeps on moving.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, like...
Yeah. And, like you said, like, just a fraction of the dot.
Yeah.
And, like, this void is crazy.
Yeah, so much. Yeah, there's so much that goes on in such a small space, and there's so much, like, emotions and stuff.
That we have some privileged position in the universe are all challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. there is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and...
Sorry, another kind of throwback to something we were talking about before, like with the eventually going out and exploring just for the sake of exploring. But not only that, is like, if the theory about like eventually we're gonna just, which, and like there's a lot of predictions that eventually the world's gonna end no matter what. I mean, that's to be assumed, but people are gonna not want to go extinct, so they're gonna start looking like, that's kind of what we're already doing anyways. I think that's part of the reason why space exploration is such like a popular thing, is because people don't want to run out of what we have on Earth. Yeah. So they're trying to find other forms of like sustainable resources elsewhere, kind of thing.
Because we have used up a good bit of, you know, at least what we have on the surface layer and even some below. But I know, I don't know if it was astronomers exactly, but there's like metal and stuff in some meteors, and you know, people want to go and get that because that'd be a great way to have like a very high source of like yielded items, like by comparison. But how would even get that stuff? You know?
Yeah, there's
like, what are you gonna do? Put a drill on a meteor?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's they'd have to like come up with different kinds of ways and stuff. But like, just the fact that the universe is so vast, like, people are gonna be looking for stuff forever. Like, people are
even
always,
after we're long gone.
Yeah, long after that, dude. It's
and
just,
think about how evolved it would be, even past like us, just right this second. You know, it's crazy to think about.
No, yeah, I already feel like it's crazy, and especially when you put it in the timeline of like how recently all this technology just popped up.
Yeah, like it was like the last couple 50 years.
Yeah, couple 100 years ago, people were still like, compared to us, living in like the Stone Ages type of stuff, like not fully underground.
Yeah, but
like,
I know what you mean.
Like, in comparison, like
traveling by ship.
Yeah.
And having no like communication globally.
Yeah, that was just like ground level resources.
Like global communication came around what, like, was it the 70s or like 80s?
I don't know the exact time, but probably somewhere around that, I would assume.
Like text like fully start, like the first computer was 1928, I think.
That's so close to now. That's 100 year span.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We just got to where we are, and it's just like snap. We have so much stuff out of nowhere.
Like we're rapidly evolving at this crazy rate.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually it will catch up, but like, you know, there is a point where we'll have to slow down.
Yeah.
Know? But all the technology just in this short span is insane.
Yeah. And like with AI too, and since that's a thing, like, we're finding ways to take the technology and use it to create better versions of itself. So like, yeah, it might eventually catch up to us if we just start expanding. Especially, it's going to burn resources
it's burning
fast.
So much water. Like,
yeah,
it burns
water.
like, what, 600 million gallons of water a day?
Yeah. I did see a video, though, that kind of put it into perspective, though, is that, like, while it is a crazy amount of water that's being consumed through, like, AI, the same exact thing is also happening through, like, YouTube and TikTok. Like, they also burn similar amounts of the servers.
All that water.
And when they have to test them, they run them for, like, endless hours, and it does the same thing. So, like, we're already doing that, and we just keep expanding and expanding.
Have you heard of the trapped water theory?
No, I haven't. What is it?
So it's basically like whenever like a town or like a city or like somewhere just needs like a whole bunch of water or a whole bunch of food or like a whole bunch of resources, that water will just stay trapped in those bottles until somebody opens it. So that'll never come back into the ecosystem. So all that trapped, I think about how many gallons or thousands or hundreds of thousands of gallons are just trapped.
Like, just like on shelves, you mean? Like,
yeah,
that are
just in like abandoned stores or like something like that, you know?
That's an interesting theory, yeah. And because, like, in order for, like, water precipitation and stuff,
like, think after Hurricane Katrina, like, all the rescue shelters and all that, there's still water, like, sitting in some of them.
Okay.
Like, just unused.
Yeah.
And it's not going back into the ecosystem.
Yeah, which is definitely a problem, because in order for it to keep cycling, we do have to give back.
Like, we are literally just trapping the cycle of life in a piece of plastic when you really think about it. It's crazy when, like, I sound crazy saying that, but, like,
no, definitely.
when you think about it, it's kind of, like, true.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the problems as well with, like, pollution, because once you mess up the water to a certain point,
you can't get
it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just, like...
Which is crazy.
It sucks, and it's just, yeah.
Like, I feel like with technology, we could find, like, a way to get a renewable water source, but it will still take time.
Yeah, definitely will take time, but I agree. I feel like they will come out. Over time, they will develop
because we have so much
ways.
Water in the oceans, you know?
Yeah.
And with global warming, even more water in the oceans, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all the water in the icebergs. Like, I feel like there has to be a way to, like, get that kind of water and filter it.
Yeah.
Like, in a certain way that, like, makes it so we have, like, that kind of renewable-ish water source.
Yeah, I'd agree. There probably is, but we got to be careful with that, too, because if we just start sucking all the ocean's water, dude, we're going to mess a lot of stuff up. So they better find out a way to recycle it before they start finding a way to use all of the world's resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely.
And even, like, plumbing companies and, like, fluoride, like, whenever they, like, filter out the water and put, like, fluoride in it to do all that, at least in America, that water's not able to be put back into the environment because it has all those chemicals in it.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of interesting to think because we have to... Like, the way that we've evolved is kind of odd because at what point did we start not being able to handle certain waters? I've never even kind of thought about it. This is the first time I've thought about it. Because in ancient times, people were able to just drink out of a stream. Like, they had to have been able to. And, like, animals do it all the time. Because there would have been no way to
really, like, filter that water at the time other than, like... You know, having natural, like, springs where you can, like, just have access to that.
Yeah.
Or, like, an oasis.
Not everyone was around a natural spring. Sometimes you just, like... And people would bathe and drink just straight out of rivers.
Yeah. And, you know, that did cause a lot of deaths, but... Because of disease and all that, but still.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be a lot more, like, if everyone just switched to drinking that kind of water now, I feel like it would be
it would definitely be...
Yeah. Like, people just wouldn't be able to survive doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, that's interesting because, I don't know, and animals can just do it regardless. They don't have any struggles, and you don't see them dying out from, like, mass, like, water contamination problems or anything.
Right. Like, I feel like there has to be an evolutionary point where, like...
Yeah.
You know.
Which is also pretty big problem because now we have to, in order for us to use the water, that... we have to destroy it for every single other kind of life form that can just use it normally. Like, it would be ideal if we could just use it in the form that it's in.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I never kind of...
And the thing is, there are clean ways to reuse, like, ocean water. Like, by heating it up and separating the salt content that can technically be drinkable water. You know?
But, that's just odd. I don't know. I'm not sure where that... started, but that is...
Yeah, it's still a wild thought.
Yeah, it does kind of suck, too.
Yeah.
Character building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Space is scary, and yet we are drawn to it. It's the ultimate call of the void. And with a renewed interest in colonizing the moon and new telescopes like the Vera Rubin telescope, we seek to expand our reach into the abyss. And maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll wise up and outlive our species' life expectancy. Maybe we'll expand through the cosmos and find new homes on other worlds near other stars. Because in an infinite universe, anything is possible. The expansive scale of our universe is beyond comprehension, but your comprehension skills are not beyond expanding when you dive into the scientific thinking course on Brilliant.org.
All right, guys, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We definitely did. Lots of deep side tangents, but I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope it got you guys thinking and stuff, so we'll catch you next one.
Peace out.
Peace.